In 2001, Disney Toon Studios employee and CEO are having a meeting during the development of Piglet's big movie.
So, you have a new Winnie the Pooh movie for me?
Yes sir, I do. So, you know how we gave Tigger his own movie a couple years ago?
I sure do. That was extremely popular.
It sure was. So, I was thinking that we could give another one of Pooh's friends his own movie.
Sounds pretty good. Which one are you thinking?
Piglet.
Yeah, Piglet is a pretty popular character. I can't definitely see that happening.
Yeah!
So, what's the movie about?
Well, Piglet starts to feel self-conscious about being small when Pooh and a gang tell him that he's not big enough to help them with a very complicated plan to get honey from bees, even though he did help them, but they didn't see it.
Oh.
And then, he goes missing, and we don't see him again until the end.
Wait, we don't see Piglet again until the end.
Nope.
But this movie is about him. Shouldn't we at least see him a couple times?
No.
Well, okay then.
So, Pooh and the gang find a scrapbook of all their adventures that Piglet was working on, and they think they could use it as a map to find Piglet.
Oh, using a scrapbook as a map is tight.
And I was thinking that we could add some flashbacks.
What? Why would we do that?
Well, to be honest sir, the movie itself is just gonna kinda be like a really long Winnie the Pooh television episode, and I'm only at like a 35 minutes.
Oh, so by slapping in some flashbacks that are each about 10 or 15 minutes long, we could get this thing a little longer and justify putting it in a theaters.
Exactly. That's like 75 minutes, and that's a pretty decent runtime.
So, what happens in the flashbacks?
Well, these are actually the classic Winnie the Pooh stories that we haven't adapted yet, so they're gonna to be about the gang meeting Conga and Roo, Christopher Robin taking them on exploration to find the North Pole and then building Eeyore's house.
And do these have any connections with the actual movie?
Well, yeah. See, while the gang are telling these stories, they realized that Piglet actually did some very heroic things in them, like finding out that Conga isn't a ferocious monster, catapulting Roo out of the river, and building Eeyore's house all by himself.
Wow, 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 wow.
But when they finish telling the stories, it starts to rain, and Tigger and Rabbit are gonna get into a fight, and drop the scrapbook into the river.
Oh no.
So, they go to Piglet's house to get out of the rain, and they start drawing new pictures of Piglet.
Wait, so Piglet is literally lost in the woods during a storm, and his friends are just drawing pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, then they decide to go back to finding Piglet, and they found the scrapbook pages in the river, and they decide to put the book back together.
Oh, putting the scrapbook back together is tight.
Then they find the book on along over a waterfall, and Pooh goes to retrieve it, but then falls and hang on to dear life.
Oh, I bet it's gonna be hard for him to get out of that.
Actually, it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
How so?
Well, the rest of the gang is gonna form a rope, but are unable to reach him, but then, Piglet just suddenly shows up, and saves Pooh.
So, Piglet just appears out of nowhere without telling everyone where he's been the entire time.
Yep.
Okay.
But in the process, they lose the scrapbook, but they remember all the drawings they made, and show them to Piglet, and remind him of all the great things he's done.
Ah, that's nice.
So, what do you think?
Well, it sounds like a pretty good movie, but I feel like it's missing something.
What do you mean?
I think we need a very famous musician to write the music for it.
Oh really? Who do you have in mind?
Times Carly and Simon contributed to movie soundtracks.
Okay, let's start filming.